Hey everyone. Welcome to a special edition of the MulDiversity, where we are traversing into the multiverse and talking about some Black label issues today. The group is going to come on, but we're going to have a little bit of a different lineup today. So stick with us. A lot has happened, and we're going to get down into it. So here's Aaron.
What's up? What's up? So I am just to start off, I am very shocked at what's happened today. I think everybody at MulDiversity is, speechless, but not really, because we all know what's going on. I'm assuming I need to just go ahead and get on into it. Let me
introductions right now.
So. Yeah, let me go ahead and throw this off to my wonderful co-host, Michael.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
Hey, Mike. And here's Avia.
Hey, everyone.
Hey. So somber.
We're definitely gonna get into it tonight because all the stuff that's been going on, and it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, definitely.
Now to Key.
Why'd you, Mike? Oh,
it wasn't me.
Okay, so Key's gonna be back, but we have.
Yeah, and I'm Q. And this shit is gonna get real tonight. Real top leg glade. But no, forget about what I just said. And Key says what she gotta say, then I'll just say it again.
Okay. Rewind. Go ahead.
Hey y'all, I'm Key, and this is America.
With a couple of K's in it. Q?
Yeah, and 3 to be exact. And this is me. I'm Q, and come on, RG. Ain't nothing, no funny anecdotes tonight, y'all. Y'all got to get the real. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Yeah. I just want to say, I know everybody was expecting us to get like real stereotypical tonight. Probably wanted us to, really show, have a little, little Ave in our voices and really show y'all some, caricatures of what Black people are supposed to look like when we get upset. But that's not going to happen because we are here to not only talk about what went down, but we'll talk about some of the underlying factors and how it affects us as a fandom. So I want people, as you're coming in, jump in the comments, let us know some of your stories. People of color, Black people, let's give them the the floor, and really talk about some of the things that have been going on, because it's racism. It is what it is. And I know a lot of you don't like that word. That word is, it makes everybody have this reaction where they have to say, no, I'm not. I have a Black friend, Black, sister, cousin, step uncle, but really and truly, we need to look at what it really is. Racism is built system, and it's been here since before America was made. Yes, I'm going back to slavery. Yes, everything goes back to slavery. Don't at me, because I can trace it. It all goes back. And I know you're tired of hearing of it, but if you would listen the first time, I wouldn't have to go back. Our system was built based on using people as commodity. And once you've built a system that way, everything about it is about having one person, one group of people that's up here, superior, and you always got to have somebody that's down here. You always have to have somebody on the ground to make yourself feel successful or whatever, even if you don't know it, and you don't feel it, but it's there. Case in point, a lot of the sayings we use today, I know some of you have heard, especially within the past year, some of the sayings we use today are racist. Some of the actions, the practices are rooted in racism. Things like I was talking to someone and I told them that the term peanut gallery in cinema, you guys have heard, I don't want to hear from the peanut gallery, or, they're shouting from the peanut gallery. That's racist because that's where the Black people were sat. And it was, the place that's like way up high, way in the back where nobody could see them. And usually you're telling the peanut gallery to shut up. You're usually trying to silence those people. See? Racism goes back to slavery. One of the things I do want to talk to, hey Gillis, one of the things I do want to talk about is something that happened within our fandom. That's happened in a lot of fandoms where someone says something and they're like, I'm not racist. I got 50 million people to vouch for me that I'm not racist. So when I said this, that's not what I meant. Well, the thing is, coming from this system that I've talked about, you have already had all this racism and this racist stuff ingrained in you, and you just didn't know it. We all do. We all have been like nurtured up into this. And so, saying these things accidentally, it's going to happen. I mean, I've done it. I remember just on my Facebook, I wrote something and I talked about, I was really upset about something that happened and I felt like I got gypped. That word is, and I thought, it's fine. I didn't do anything. And I get this, DM from someone, a friend from grad school who's Jewish and who tells me the connotations of that word to his people, his culture. And my first reaction was it to say, oh, but I'm not racist. I have nothing against, I'm not anti-Semitic. So I didn't know that, but I'm not anti-Semitic. So let's move on. No, I apologized. Said, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to use I didn't know about the word. So I'm sorry if, it made you feel some kind of way. I didn't know. And so I let him tell me the connotations and the history of the word. And then I went back on my timeline. I edited the word out. I also put an explanation underneath it. And another, I'm sorry, I didn't know what this word meant. So the way we're supposed to handle these things is to say, I'm sorry. What happened when you were little and you brushed by your sibling and he goes, your little brother or sister, and they go, you hit me. Ma, they hit me. Your mom's like, say you're sorry. And you're like, I didn't mean to. It doesn't matter. Say you're sorry. Your mom is telling you you caused that person harm, whether you meant to or not. You need to apologize. And if you didn't mean it, that apology means, that you were sincerely not thinking of the harm you caused. And the fact that and if you sit down and you double down and you refuse, it's going to look like you kind of really did mean it. So I wanted to put up, Mike, could you throw up that graphic that I gave you? I wanted to kind of show you this graphic, some of the, what I've been talking about with this. Some people like to call it unintentional racism, but it's racism. All of it is. Hopefully this graphic can show you. So here we have implicit bias, which is some people, says that is unintentional racism. And then we have the structural racism. Now this is what I was talking about with our country being built on, being built structured on this. We had slavery, we had these hierarchies of people, these hierarchies of class and color before this country became a country. So it's built into the structure and to everything we do. So if you look at this circle, you see we start over with history and practices on the right. Our history is embedded. So our government policies are have it in there. Everything we practice, it has it in there. And you go around, well, it causes inequitable outcomes, and racial disparities. This is where you see, you know, schools that are predominantly Black, that have educational materials that are inferior to schools that are, you know, in white communities in the suburbs. This is where you find that, you know, with COVID right now, it's disproportionately killing Black people more than it is killing, you know, white people. It's because of and it's not because, you know, oh, it's the health, you know, thing. No, it's not health problems. It's the bias, the racism in our healthcare system. I don't know if y'all remember a couple weeks back, there was a lady who worked in a hospital, a doctor. She wrote in her Twitter, she kept it a log of how they were treating her, doctor at this hospital, how they were not listening to her. They were doing everything but listening to her. And they even ended up sending her home before she was ready, because they didn't believe her. There is this idea, this theory in medicine that Black people don't feel pain like white people do. So a lot of doctors don't listen. There's a lot of them that don't listen anyway. And she ended up dying. It's on social media. You can look it up. That's structural racism getting in there and causing those inequities. And then, you know, it keeps on going on and on and on and on and around. And it's like, no, I'm not saying that you intentionally went out there, put on a Klan hood and said, I'm going to disrupt some Black people today. No one's saying that. No one's saying that that you hate, you know, these people. No one's saying that. No one's saying that you're an evil person. No one's saying anything about you. What they're saying is you did a racism and here's how you can fix it. So this kind of goes back to, you know, being in a fandom, and which Shelly Bean says, the way they're being treated and dismissing Black folks. Yes, this is being Black and being in the fandom. You're often, I mean, not often. We're always the ones that are forgotten. When people talk about fandoms, they talk about, you know, fanboys, white fanboys. They don't talk about the Black people, people of color, the women, in there as well. We're called upon to do the work. When you need us to tweet out the numbers, when you need the ideas, when you need the people to come in and sit in on your, sit in on. When it comes time to listen to us, when we say, this happened, and I know that you guys don't think it's a bad thing, but it hurts us. Now, the fact that you don't think that it's bad or that it's anything, Amanda, and also this is why it's important to know why this is a racist thing. Learn the context. Exactly. The fact that you don't think it's racism, or you've never heard of it, or maybe there's some other cultural thing that you're thinking that this person could, there's other things that you're like, okay, maybe this person, it doesn't matter what else this person was thinking. Doesn't matter what else was going through this person's head. What matters is the damage done. What matters is the harm. Now, the fact that you don't understand any of this is because you've never been the target of it. You've never seen the racism. And I say this because I've been married for 20 years to a white guy, you know, who never knew that racism, the way that I've experienced it, exists, because he's not the target. He never, I mean, why is he going to see it when the people who are perpetrating it on Black women or Black people, they're not going to be doing it in front of him or to him? But he's seen the way that I've struggled, and he's seen that some of the bias that has led me to different, roadblocks that I've had to stumble around. And, you know, he's a believer, because, I mean, and the thing is, you don't have to understand it to know it. You just have to listen. And that's the one thing that I've learned, even from him, that even though you're white, even though you have the privilege, even though your white privilege keeps you, and white privilege, again, white privilege is not a bad thing. It's just, well, it is when you use it the way that people use it today. But it's the way you were born. You were born without the skin tone that, you know, prevents you from getting a lot of opportunities. But that, because you have, that means that you're not going to see a lot of things. That means when your black friends start talking and they say, hey, this fandom did a racism and we need to talk about it, it means you need to shut the fuck up and let us talk about it. Okay? That means don't step in and try to say, oh, this person didn't mean. We don't care. It doesn't matter. When your mom got a hold of you for knocking the hell out of your brother accidentally, it didn't matter. Did she let you explain? Did she let you give context? No, because it doesn't matter. The harm is what matters. And, you know, especially in these fandoms, we're silenced enough. And we go to bat for you guys. We're that buffer between Black Twitter and, you know, the fandom. You don't want us to be silent. You don't want us to kind of leave you hanging. So all I'm saying is understand that racism is deeper than just being called this racist and thinking that, okay, they mean I'm a hood wearing Black people hating person. No. That means you did an act that we need to discuss, we need to talk about. That means you need to go to the person, people who know. That means if you're not from the culture who know, you need to stand back and you need to let us do the talking. Did I miss anything? Did I leave anything out, guys?
No, it's right on the money.
Yeah.
And I want to add about today, when I said about white privilege, y'all. If you go on my Twitter timeline, you will see that I've done threads where I'm juxtaposing June, when Black Lives Matter protest happened, and today. You have military style weaponry. You have full gear, helmets, you know, Kevlar shields that cover their whole bodies for Black people who are singing songs and who are marching. But for white people who are taking shit out of Congress, you have police officers taking selfies, shaking hands, and opening gates and doors and letting them in. If they were Black, they would have been shot on the spot. And don't say, oh, no, you're just saying that. No, because go back to June, it actually happened. Just saying. Just saying. It's all around us. You know, just listen to us. You know, just listen. Sit down, shut up, listen. That's how I want to leave it at that. Oh, I was supposed to add something too. Also, with racism, it's a hot button topic, and it's so touchy and it's so raw that other people use it against us. Thank you, Daphne. Yeah, it's deeper. I thought I said deeper than that hoodie. I thought you were like complimenting my hoodie, but yeah, the racism is deeper than that hood. It is deeper than the hood. It's so insidious that other people will use it against a group like our fandom because they know that y'all have a history of not listening to us. Y'all have a history of silencing us. Y'all have a history of ignoring us until a whole swath leaves. That actually happened in 2017. If you guys didn't know that, like, did y'all notice that y'all lost a whole bunch of Black people back then? Anybody notice that?
I did.
Well, any non-Black person noticed that. Yeah. So they know that we have this history. They will use racism against us to get us to get all toxic with one another. And why would getting toxic with one another at this point in our timeline hurt? I'm going to throw it over to Aaron. He can explain further.
Oh, well, what's up, people? This is Aaron, student of Gil Scott Heron Michael, and I'm going to let you know a little something. I'm going to put you guys on game about disinformation list. This is a very old game going all the way back to how J. Edgar Hoover infiltrated Black Panther Party. I mean, Malcolm X told the grassroots movement, like, you need to watch out because they're not going to integrate, they're going to infiltrate. This also applies to some of the rumors that have been going around about from our other, the other side about what Antifa infiltrating things to make people look bad, or even in the fandom. And here's some ways you can tell what that is. How these traits of disinformationalists, pop up. So the first thing you can notice is avoidance. So let's say you have an account, or you have, just anybody who is trying to argue with you. If they're, it's very simple. And if they're avoiding what the actual issue is, issue head on, come on. They're not trying to have a conversation with you. They just want to, stoke the flames a little. There's nothing really, to this. But the next thing that I think goes deeper is their selectivity. Especially with racism, I think personally, I think the easiest buttons at this point of what the disinfo agents, I'm going to be calling that from now on, they are very selective of who they choose, and the easiest targets are racism, misogyny, and homophobia. Those are the three easiest topics. That is just extremely obvious. It's going to always be argumentative. It's always going to be someone pinpointing something. And the thing is, it only takes one person. And obviously, my screen's acting a little silly, probably because there's too much truth on the screen right now. But I'm going to keep going. The next thing you need to watch out for is how coincidental it is. So let's say we have, just pick on Twitter for a minute. We have an account, brand new. It's very coincidental that it's made the day of there's an issue, a huge issue such as, racism, or, somebody getting shot. Let's go back to when Trayvon Martin was murdered, because that's what it was. A lot of accounts popped up the day of, in favor of Zimmerman, trying to stoke the flame, saying, oh, that we're here for this, F Black people, they're calling people, apes and baboons and primates and all these different things to try to, really, get things going. And once again, that's selectivity. What then happens is that they're not alone. There's teamwork. They operate in self-congratulatory and complementary packs or teams. This is Disinfo Agent 101 to a T. You're always going to see somebody, you're always going to see at least three people or three accounts always running in the same circle, always going to the same, picking on the same people, because it's an obvious target. And I hate to say this to my people, but Black people, we're very easy targets to get, riled up, because we're not taking this shit no more. But that's just how it is. And what you're going to have to deal with, you're going to have a lot of straw man, arguments, a lot of different, BS tactics designed to dilute opponent presentation strengths, because they don't care. And usually, I think this is when, by the time you see teamwork, this is when you can start to really tell if they are, let's say, people from Stormfront, because we all know that website. If you have done your homework in regards to what to avoid in racism, or they could be someone higher up, say, executives for a film industry to, stop a movie getting bad press, or PR, or, whatever, what have you, even FBI, CIA, all these different agents, it's always teamwork. I think the next biggest thing you need to look out for is anti-conspiratorial attitudes. So let's keep going back to film, because I think that's the easiest one for you guys to understand, all our viewers to understand. So if we just take in account some drama happening on a film set. I think, recently there was something with Robert Pattinson having issues or whatever. It's neither here nor there, but it takes one little nugget of information, and even if that's true, let's say it's 100% true. You have video of it. There's cursing. There's fist fight, whatever. Someone who works for the studio is going to come in and say, no, that's fake news. We all know where that comes from. It's fake news. It's BS. You don't want to believe it. It's a conspiracy to mess up Warner Brothers' money. It's, and you could see more things like that. The Trump administration has done this a lot. A lot of people who have worked, and it's been proven. You have a lot of accounts, pretend to be, anti-Trump, whatever. And politics aside, this is just, you have these infiltrators coming in, doing these things, pretending to be one person when they're really, somebody else working for, the opposing side, basically. And the next biggest thing, and I cannot stress this enough, is that there is an inconsistency. You're going to have, and this ties right back into selectivity. So you're going to have someone or someone's jump from, in favor of this big, grassroots movement, or in favor of something, that's for the people. Mostly this happened 100% with the Black Panther movement, the Black Panther Party in the 70s, and even, parts of the civil rights movement in the 60s, is that there's always an inconsistency and selectivity, because what's going to happen is you're going to have mistakes constantly made on behalf of someone that's infiltrated, this group, this grassroots group, also like with Black Lives Matter. And there's always going to be this sort of Freudian slip, or something that shows their motive by the way they go after one person. So let's say my brother Q talks about one of the things that people who want to show how big and bad they always go after the biggest person in the room. That's a lot of selectivity, and there's inconsistency, because you can have someone who is the face of a movement be attacked consistently, but if I were to say something, worse, saying, oh, F this person, because I'm not going to get attacked. And that's because I'm not the face of the movement. I'm not the one who's an issue here. It's almost like a Trojan horse scenario we got going on. And what that goes into then is, if you try to reason, please don't try to reason with these people. But what you're going to deal with is artificial emotion. It's going to be a very cold and calculating attitude, almost like a business. And that's because a lot of these people are, no disrespect to you guys, but a lot of these guys are business majors, business graduates who have understood what creates an issue and how to, stoke the flames a little. They have a lot of thick skin, and it's always deny. Politicians do this. This is always in politics. You can always have there's this, it's just a job to them. They see it unable to act their role in character. There's a communication barrier there. You're always going to have a communication barrier no matter what. And I think what all that leads to is there's a constant in time where, say, there's this really big scandal, this really big drama, and it just blows up to, because one person, one account, one anything is saying, here's an issue, I'm going to blow it up, I'm going to make everybody around me get mad, and everything dies down. It's nice and quiet. There's no issue. But that time constant, they wait until things are nice and calm. They come back bigger and badder than ever. They're going to hit up something. So let's just go back with Twitter or even Facebook. If there is, let's go with Twitter because that's the biggest platform right now. You can have something that is, incredibly viral. Somebody, it's usually 9 times out of 10, it's going to be the same people coming in to say something to start everybody. So, you can see this in tons of movements, tons. I don't think there are enough. Yeah, okay, yeah, exactly. They majored in it. This is all. It's a book that has been written by some very crafty people. Like I said, you can go all the way back to when J. Edgar Hoover started this, and unfortunately, I don't think the collective has learned just yet. I think we're seeing it. We're kind of peeping it and clocking it a little bit quicker every time. But we absolutely have to be on top of our P's and Q's, because this is a huge time. There is no empathy. This is a huge time for information via technology, and we get a lot of information very quickly. I think the U.S. is the one that gets we get the most information unfiltered, and even then that's debatable. But there's still this massive amount of infiltration and disinfo agents that we just have to be careful about. And if you don't know now, you know, because come on, guys, this is nothing new. We're not children. We're not children anymore. Our parents aren't here to hold our hands. We have to, clock this stuff very quickly. And I'm just going to say it. Most of you guys out there, on the internet, on social media, y'all getting played. Yaya said them bloggers are lying to y'all. I'm not even talking about Cape shit right now. Y'all getting played completely. If anybody's watching who is a disinfo agent, I'm clocking you right now. But yeah, you guys are getting played. You need to watch out for your followers. You need to watch your back on who's retweeting you. You need to watch your back on who's got your phone number, who is acknowledging you in quote retweets. You have to honestly, see what is really behind these people. You cannot just, hope for, a better tomorrow, because people don't have your best interest. You have to have your own best interest first and foremost. You have to. And unfortunately, to circle all this back, we as Black people, we have to have our best interests. We cannot be crabs in a barrel. We have to get rid of colorism, misogynoir, all of it, because we are getting murdered. America is obviously letting us know they don't care. It's very unfortunate, and we have to be able to clock what is going on, because, going back to what Joe said, they're not going to listen to us. We have to be able to speak. We have to be able to speak in our own forms, on our own times, but we have to be able to clock this shit first and foremost, or we're going to end up just like Huey did, just like Dr. King did, just like Brother X did, it same story, different shit. Come on, people, come on. But in a wonderful segue, I'm going to throw this over to Mike, because he has some wonderful thoughts and opinions about everything that's going down.
Sorry, I was muted. I think for me, it was just how sad how a lot of things was handled today. Last summer, I watched a lot of things happen and how things were handled, and I felt like, it's sad to see that I see people who are, I guess you want to say, peaceful protesting and everything last year for, people like me. And, I saw a lot of tactics being used badly. And then today I just see, nothing. So, that's all I really have to say. It's like a little touchy situation for me. So, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, so today was definitely something, but I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all, because earlier, 6 months ago, at a Black Lives Matter rally, the police were stationed on the steps making sure that they didn't enter the Capitol. But where were they today? They didn't wear any protective gear. They weren't. The the protesters, even though, let's be honest, they were domestic terrorists. Media, please stop referring to them just as Trump supporters, because they are more than that. They are domestic terrorists because they are out there terrorizing everyone in the city right now. Because I saw a video of someone who said that she was just jogging by and someone was like following her and she had to run to get away from them. And it's just, it really shows America's true colors right now. And a lot of people are saying, "Oh, this isn't the America I know, boy." That's America. That's not the America that you know, but that's the America that we know. And just, growing up in the South, even though there's racism everywhere, it's been here forever. It's most likely not going away. Growing up in the South, it wasn't necessarily just someone calling you the N-word in your face or something like that. It was the microaggressions. It's that they kept, like, a white woman, like, not looking you in the face, or giving you a look, or assuming that you're not as, I worked retail, so when I was, when someone like me, a black cashier, tries to talk to her, she thinks I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, she thinks that she's smarter than me, even though I work there. And, all that just comes together in what happened today. And then also in the fandom, where if there are instances of racism and the person who makes these statements, they backpedal when you try to call them out on the racism, because one thing that racists hate, they hate being called racist. And that's just part of it. But when you tell them about themselves, they don't want, like, "Oh, you might be right. I might have said something racist." And then I'm going to pass this over to Key because she has the answer to this question.
Is it working? Okay. All right. So if I sound exhausted, it's because I'm exhausted. Like, honest to God, I'm over it because nothing changes. It's the same rinse and repeat cycle over and over and over again. Shit happens. No, let me start. Black people warn you. Y'all ignore us. Shit happens. Y'all expect us to fix it. We fix it because we know if we don't fucking fix it, it's never going to be fixed. And then we'll be screwed over 10 times as worse than y'all will be. And it's just rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. It should not be this fucking way. Y'all should learn the first fucking time. And that be that. It shouldn't be lesson learned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, I'm fucking over it. Like with this bullshit with Stacey Abrams, for example. Y'all are, like, I'm happy for her and I'm glad she's doing the thing. But y'all are propping her up to be like freaking Wonder Woman, which gives us no room to make a mistake. That's one thing I really hate. Like, y'all put us on these higher than normal pedestals. But as soon as we make one little mistake, it's the end of the fucking world. I'm tired. It should not have to be black people's job to clean up y'all's bullshit. You should be grown enough to know fucking right from wrong and be done with it. Because I'm going to keep it straight up with you. Whenever shit hits the fan for anything, do not come over here asking for us to do anything. Because here's my response. And that's all I got to say on that. And now I'm going to turn it over to the pastor for tonight, who has a whole lot to say. My brother from another, Q.
As he's priming up, can we get the offer plate, the Patreon link up in our little merch link?
No, that ain't gonna be necessary because what I gotta say, they probably ain't gonna want to buy shit anyway because I'm about to go into it. But y'all still feel free.
Man.
Y'all can hate buy. So my granny was born and raised in a small town in Mississippi, Chula. She lived there for 25 years. So she turned 25. And during that time period, she saw everything around the goddamn block. Nothing any racist thing you can think of. She experienced it, seen it, was a victim of it. KKK, seen it. Lynches, seen it. Burn crosses, seen it. You know, being adjacent to sundown towns, seeing it. All of that stuff. Then, when she turned 25, during what certain books will tell you was the Great Migration to the North for a lot of Southerners for architectural industry jobs, industrial jobs. She moved to the city of Chicago, which in some other in some other manners is an entirely different level of racism, which revolves around police brutality, police harassment, etc., etc. That's how that type of racism deals in Chicago. Infamously, a Chicago Tribune said during the Martin Luther King era that when he was staging a protest there, that the mayor and the police chief wasn't going to have any of it because they were liable to kill Martin Luther King if he was going to be a rabble rouser. That's how bad the racism was in Chicago, despite it getting a rap of being progressive city. That's not nothing new to Chicago and to myself and Joe as well. So imagine my feelings as I'm talking to my grandmother about what's happening out there in Washington, D.C. with the domestic terrorists storming the Capitol and bringing firearms and pepper spray and taking selfies with the police chiefs and the security there. Imagine my feelings when she tells me that, Q, this is worse than what worse than what I was experiencing, worse than what I went through, and that it just seems like nothing's gotten better. And my feeling on everything is that, and I know people, I know like normally I'm the like jovially when I'm being informative, but right now I'm angry among other things because I look at this situation. I look at situations that's happened in the fandom over the past 3-4 days, and I've seen reactions to it, and it just keeps going into my mind of racism does not go away by being swept under the rug. Racism doesn't go away off of the words of non-Black folks. Racism doesn't go away off of the words of non-Muslim folks, anyone, people of color. And when people step over that line, Joe gave the example earlier of her using language in regards to one of, the Jewish community, and it was anti-Semitic, and she had to go back and change it and express sorrowfulness and everything that was necessary to get the point across that was not her intention. That is the correct way to handle it. The incorrect way is taking an ambivalent stance, coming up with excuses, and ultimately doubling down, because that doesn't save everything. That doesn't change anything. And for me, as a person who looks at things in a macro sense, and as a person who looks at things and where it's going to go based off of where we've been, this shit can't happen. I know Key's expressed that, don't run to Black folks. Aaron has expressed that, you always got to make sure you're paying attention to who's giving you the information and who's speaking and whatnot. Avia's spoken on how it's just so shocking to see the depravity and the depths these people get away with and everything. And Joe was very educational on it, as well as Mike just being, expressing the general and accurate sense of bewilderment and disillusionment to everything. And where I'm at is wake the fuck up, shut the fuck up, and step the fuck out of the way when these things come around. Just as simple as that. If you treasure our voices as far as this fandom goes, then when we say that this shit is wrong, you shut. If you ain't Black, if you're not the accosted party, I wish I had the spirit to speak it in a pleasant manner, but that ain't here, and it probably ain't gonna be here for a nice little minute. But if this ain't your lane, stay the fuck out of it and keep it pushing. As simple as that. And understand and listen to what we're telling you, because this isn't something that, as you've seen, there's been a lot of talk of giving mice cookies. Well, today should have been a very, very clear example of what mice really were getting cookies, and the direction that goes. People can bitch and moan about fandoms getting movies and claim that's giving a mouse a cookie, but this, what's happened out in Washington, D.C., that's the actual truthful, non-homogenized, straight to the point iteration of giving mice cookies. That's just it. And like with that, like how in 2016 black folks was telling y'all motherfuckers that this was going to happen, that this was like they would do stupid shit like this, that they would get away with doing stupid shit like this, and it will have to be moving heaven and earth to see to it that a major catastrophe won't be a result because they got away with this shit. Nobody listened. People made their jokes about sheet cakes. People said, oh no, he's not a fascist. People said, oh, just give him a shot, and all of this other bullshit. And year after year after year after year after year, he showed you just the levels of depravity he can actually exude and empower the worst of the worst to do what needs to be done. Because the shit is stupid. The shit is stupid. The shit is what this is when you don't listen to the accosted parties trying to warn you based off of their history that know what the fuck they're talking about, and not just finna go, oh, well, okay, just wait and see. No, when it comes to racism, when it comes to intolerance, when it comes to bigotry, there ain't no wait and see. It's you nip that shit in the bud and you get it done. You get it done the way it needs to get done, straight up. There ain't nothing to it. There ain't no conversation. There ain't no wait and grace period. You get it done, you get it resolved, and the person that said it and did it needs to be held accountable in the correct ways. Plain and simple. If our voices, if we mean so goddamn much to this fandom, right? If one of the biggest people in this fandom, a black man, asks for your support to think about accountability over entertainment, that doesn't just go to him because you want to stick it to a film studio who may or may not be explicitly putting things in individuals in certain positions that you aren't paying attention to explicitly sow deceit and make the fandom look bad in ways that people aren't paying attention to, because that's a very real thing. Because as we've known, there is no lengths, there is no depth that the studio won't go to try to dissuade this from being a thing. So that's something you should absolutely keep in the back of your mind, that a lot of the stuff, a lot of the things, a lot of the people who say crazy stuff, they might just be on some bullshit and they might be being payoled off to do that. And some of the people that may be looking like allies might be in that same fucking boat. Just like how you got these folks out in the protests being paid off to be in Black Lives Matter and make it seem like it while they're marching peacefully. They got you got the Proud Boys paying people off to dress like they're one of Black Lives Matter protesters. They're carrying bricks while Black Lives Matter are carrying water. And then the Fox News cycles are spelling them all the same way. And the shit is, and the thing is about all of this is that, as Keys so famously and so eloquently puts it, is it Uchiwali or is it one mic? Because it cannot be both. It cannot be both. You can't sit there and talk about accountability over entertainment, and yet when things from the past dredge itself up, try to silence the voices that are accosted at the most because you don't want to address the problem straight up. Simple as that. Because then what the fuck are we here for? Are we actual beloved, welcomed members of the fandom? Or are we just props to stick it to bloggers and websites who have an axe to grind? Because I promise you, I ain't got no more love for them than y'all do. I ain't out here trying to kiss the bloggers' ass, because a lot of these folks who are toxic and exist in this fandom, I blame them directly for, because they created those monsters. And yet I'm here having to fight them. Much like how these racists created the systematic racism that, as a black man, I have to deal with, as a black woman has to deal with, et cetera, et cetera. We didn't create that shit, but we still have to fight it. But the question ain't us fighting it. The question is, what are you, the non-accosted, going to do to fix this? Because we didn't do this. We didn't create this mess. We didn't do any of this shit. But y'all constantly leave us Like y'all can't fucking leave us with the bag every fucking time, and you most certainly can't leave us with the bag and then tell us to shut the fuck up, as you want us to solve this problem in the most quiet and most unconfrontational manner. That's not gonna happen. That can't happen. The only people that have the final words on situations like this is us, because this directly affects us. You know what I'm saying? The stakes is too high for this shit, and this ain't nothing. Unfortunately, whether it's the fandom or the real world, the shit ain't new. The shit's not new, and the problem is the shit should have been resolved well in advance on all fronts, and it hasn't. And people who know what the fuck that's going on, or are the motherfuckers that are being accosted, shouldn't be tried to be pacified, shouldn't be told to wait or just let it go. That's not how shit gets solved at all. That's not how this fucking thing gets solved. That's not how this fucking works. You know what the fuck I'm saying? It's not enough to just sit there and say, oh, we know who to give credit for. No, because you don't clearly just saying we ain't fixing the fucking problem. If you ain't gonna sit there and be specific, then I can't trust on what you're talking about. Us United is more than just a hashtag or a simple act of forgiveness. Us United is accurately understanding that all the voices in the fandom matter equally, and those who are marginalized needs to be listened to just as much as those who are the majority. It's simple. It's as simple as that. It ain't just something you just type, you just tweet out once with no context and just be done with it. That's not how that works. You got to walk how you talk. John Cena said it best. There are those who talk about it and there are those who be about it. I know that people only think of him as a meme and as a person who's playing a character in the HBO Max series no one wants to watch. But that's the realest shit he ever wrote. There are those who talk about it, who just go about their lives just saying the things that sound cute and won't make people look at them more than once and will pat themselves on the back because they think that one little sentence makes a difference. And then there are those who be about it, who live that shit every day, who use their actions to make a difference, who try their best to emulate the heroes that they watch on the big screen, small screen, in the pages as much as they possibly can, not through the power sets that they have, but by the morals that they stand by. And that is where I am at right now in this world, where I'm at entirely as a Black man who has dealt with racism, who has been stopped by the police, who's been harassed by the police, who has been a victim of racism by just regular ass white folks, who's been told many a story by my parents and grandparents about the absolute atrocities of racism. This shit ain't a game. This shit ain't a game in no facet. And I'm not going to take it less seriously if it's because of cape shit. I'm not going to take it I'm not going to hand wave it away because it's been happening before me. I'm going to treat it as serious every fucking day I see it as the day before. Because that's what the fuck I have to deal with until motherfuckers get their mind right. Which, unfortunately, I probably won't live to see it. And I'm fucking 26 years old. Ain't that a fucking sad idea? So yeah, this shit is crazy. This shit is stupid. This shit is bogus. And silence is compliant. Is like when you're being silent, you're complying with the bullshit that's happening. And when you speak on it, and more importantly, when you boost the voices of those who are accosted, who's trying to speak on it, that's how you begin. Not make the change. That's how you begin to make the change. Because this is a long and arduous road. It's the road not meant for the weak or weary. You got to have a strong soul and you got to have a strong moral compass to walk it, or else you will get lost. So that's it. That's it. I can't sit here and pretend like this shit doesn't weigh heavy on my soul. I can't sit here and pretend like this shit ain't fucking sad to witness. I can't sit here and pretend like this shit doesn't make me feel, it fucking bums me out and depresses the fuck out of me. And this shit is not This shit is not cool. And my number one hope is that motherfuckers watch this shit and get something out of it and understand where the fuck we're coming from. Because like he said, you know, if shit hits the fan, when shit hits the fan, they're gonna come to us. No matter what situation, whether it's over Cape shit, whether it's in real life, no matter what. When racism hits the fucking fan, they run to us first because they want to know our thoughts and opinions after the fact. But when we speaking on it in a bubble in a vacuum, which to them is a bubble in a vacuum, but to us is every waking minute, they're not trying to hear it. So exactly, so is that it's the injustice becomes a normality. It's bogus. It's bogus, and like just straight up, I'm gonna keep it buck. To all my non-black friends out there, mutuals, viewers out here watching it, I need y'all to step your games up. Even if y'all are doing what y'all feel is right, y'all still need to step the game up. Still need to speak on it. Still need to push for this. You know, I read something last year that blew my fucking mind. It said that when it comes to situations like this, you don't need white people don't need to be allies. They need to be accomplices, because accomplices indicates that they are able to stand and be a shield for those voices that need to be spoken up about the most. And that's where we are now. It's not enough to just simply it's not enough to just simply say, yeah, I'm standing with you. It's you have to show it. And so that's the more or less my soliloquy, and also just saying you got to keep an eye out there. You got to keep an eye out there, because there's always powers that be placing folks out there in the streets in your life trying to say, oh, they're with you, and they're really not. You know, when the people who assassinated Malcolm X was two brothers sitting in a movie theater paid off. You know what I'm talking about? So it's just the shit is real. The shit is real, and no matter what, you got to be mindful of this shit. You got to be mindful of this shit, because this is not a game. This is not a game. And if y'all really give a damn about what the fuck we're talking about, us 6 black folks that's sitting here every Wednesday night talk about Cape shit, whether it be movies, TV shows, whatever. You really give a fuck about us? If you really give a fuck about what we as a group is talking about, if you like, then y'all have to do this. And when we speak out about it, y'all got to be right there with us, standing with us. Because I promise you, when the shoe's on the other foot and it comes to y'all, our friends, we gonna be there with bells on for y'all when y'all going through y'all shit. We ain't finna leave y'all in the dust. We ain't finna sit there and say, nah, don't worry about it. Don't think too much about it. We gonna be right there with you. And so we hope that's given back to us. Because this shit is not fun to talk about. It's not, but it needs to be talked about. That's something I learned. It was taught very early on, is that racism and shit is not gonna go away. And it ain't gonna be something you can sweep under a rug. You got to address it head on. And that's just it. That's just it, and that's all. So yeah.
Thanks, Q. There's not a whole lot more to say. Q just kind of lit the thing up. I do want to say that when we talk about this racism happening, we're not talking about these experiences from, our examples are from when we were kids, when we were younger. Q talked about his grandmother, but this is stuff that's happened today, yesterday, a couple hours ago. I mean, when we go to our allies, and like how Q said, they need to be accomplices, and they, stand silent, they turn us away. This is not something that happened 10 years ago. This is something that happened days ago. This is something that happened today. Yours truly. This is something that, the so-called allies are still probably sounding off in the DMs about put my name on blast, because once again, Are you with us or not? I mean, if you're not experiencing it because you're not the target, but as you heard from everybody here, it's real, it's live, and we are all feeling it. So, do you care about everyone here, or are you still gonna make it seem like I'm just throwing a tantrum because of what's going on, on the timeline or everywhere else? If you want to make it one person's tantrum, you can, but that shows where you are. If you're not with us, then what? What did he say? What Pastor say? So has anybody got anything else they want to add to this?
I'll go ahead and say something for all of our viewers now and in the future. Well, not really apologies. It gets a little triggering, but I think what has been expressed tonight, I don't think you guys really understand the severity of what we're saying. We can just point out the fact that Breonna Taylor was murdered, and even though her family was basically paid off, her murderers were not charged or, taken to prison. In history, they don't really talk about this a lot, but slaves, who looked like us, completely looked like us, their hair was used to fill in chairs, their teeth were used for dentures, their blood was drank from, you can look at Madame Blanc from New Orleans, she was a butcher. We were experimented on, we were eaten, among other things. This is a very gruesome history. Exactly. It's a very gruesome history where people look like us have been attacked in America. And even though we have had, selective things taken care of, you have Rodney King and things like that, it still hasn't changed. We have the Klan running around calling themselves the Proud Boys. Like, this is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And this is why we are so fed up. Q said it perfectly. Joe said it. Everybody on here said it perfectly tonight. But we really are fed up with what's going on and seeing our allies, personally, it's very unfortunate to see some of our allies just kind of turn their nose at us. I think I could speak for everybody on here and say it's very unfortunate to see that. But, we're used to, we as Black people, we're used to that. We're used to being all we have. And if you can't get with it, you need to get out of our way.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree. And I just gotta, I think about the duality of everything that's been transpiring in the fandom and in reality, and just thinking on how there's so much shit that is expected for us to take, and it just feels so much like it's enough to smother a person. It's enough to smother the fuck out of a person. And just seeing these pictures of these assholes, these white domestic terrorists in the fucking Chamber of Commerce, sitting with their feet up with a phone, taking selfies, right? When they stand weapon on, an armed standoff between security, fucking dudes taking pictures with the Gerald Ford statue like it's a fucking Disney World exhibit, taking cops taking selfies, not even trying to get these people up out of here. And yet, if our black asses was in a Black Lives Matter march 100 miles away from the White House Capitol, but just so happened to be in front of it, they would have brought the tear gas, the bullets, rubber or otherwise.
We wouldn't have made
fucking
the step.
we wouldn't even have been in the.
We wouldn't even got there. Like, it would have been done.
They tried this summer and they wouldn't let them get to the White House. They got to the street in front of it and was surrounded by military.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
And then you got videos of opening gates and letting these people through.
Yes, like allowing them to come through, allowing them to
taking selfies with them,
allowing a woman to die. Like, that's like just straight up that those were the things that were allowed to happen. And we can't even march because an innocent woman's murdered in her bed. An innocent man is being choked out.
A little kid had a toy.
A toy.
Right.
A mother has a mental incident and runs over a barricade. Multiple teenagers get gunned down wearing hoodies, having candy, being accused of shoplifting.
A caregiver trying to help his autistic patient and get shot. Y'all remember that?
A father in the car with his wife and child. Our grandparents, our grandfathers, our brothers, our sisters, our parents, our sisters, our brothers, our kids. All of this shit is real. All of this shit is fucking real. And so when racism shows up in any capacity, of course we are going to take it fucking seriously. There is no room for letting it slide, letting it be solved and resolved on its own, expecting people not to be involved for one reason or another. None of that shit is applicable. None of that shit is acceptable. That's not fucking acceptable. And we shouldn't get guff for expecting anything more than complete and total understanding and resolution to the racism we've seen in any degree. It's unfucking believable, and it's unfucking forgivable. And if you with us, you with us. If you're not, you're not. You can't be. There ain't no such thing as halfway crooks, as Mobb Deep said. You can't be that. You got to be either 100 or you got to be 0. Because this shit ain't a game. This shit is real. Very, very fucking real. So.
And I just want to say on the fact that if anybody out here watching this thinks, oh, they're being extra, this happens all the time, let me ask you this question. If we're being extra and dramatic, why are y'all so terrified of becoming a minority?
Girl.
Why are y'all so terrified of other minorities becoming the majority in this country if we're so dramatic? It's not that damn bad.
Preach.
Because you know the truth. You know how bad it is, and you don't want it to happen to you. And despite all that, and despite everything, I wouldn't wish this on my own worst enemy.
This right here.
This it's nothing you want to go through. Having to think day in and day out, what's going to happen today? Am I going to be able to come back home safe? Is my dad going to be able to come home safe? You do not want to have to live like that. Nobody should have to live like that. But that's what we have to do. And even then, we don't get time to rest. We don't get time to cry. We don't get time to do nothing. Because like I said earlier, we're expected to be the fucking Avengers of America. We're fucking tired. It's time for y'all motherfuckers that have more privilege than us step to the fucking plate and do something. Because I don't know about anybody else up here, but as a black woman, I'm fucking exhausted.
Yeah.
I'm
exhausted. Malcolm X said the most disrespected woman in America is the black woman.
Yes.
Period. Point
Yes.
blank period. No one listens to us, and when we do try to tell them, they don't want to hear it. And then it's when it does happen, it's like, oh, well, we told you so. We told you this was going to happen, but they don't want to listen. And it's exhausting. Like you said, like being a black woman is exhausting. Like,
because at this rate, I'm trying not like to freaking bawl my eyeballs out right now because I'm just that exhausted.
Same.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna keep it about. Eventually, stuff's going to go bad in this fandom. It's going to go real bad. It's going to go south quick, and it's not going to be pretty. And I say it once, say it again, say it 1,000 times. Do not, and I mean do not, bring your sorry asses over here in our faces expecting us to be the token Negro. Because I'm telling you something. you can get your feelings fucking hurt. And that's on some real.
Yeah. If you ain't trying to hear us now, it ain't nothing. I mean, like this. If you're not trying to hear what we're saying on any of this stuff now, then what the fuck are you even trying to? What the fuck do you even need to hear us for? Like if you ain't trying to hear what we're saying now on this, you might as well delete them accountability over entertainment tweets that you say you send in response to Ray and all the stuff he got going on.
Yes.
Like if you can't put no further effort into getting shit resolved, if all you can offer up is excuses and half-assed shit, I don't know what to fucking tell you, because when y'all want to make sure that this stuff is not labeled as the same assholes who were at the Capitol, y'all invoke our name, y'all invoke our accomplishments, our contributions to the fandom. But when it's really time to speak on it in real time, as it's actually happening, y'all not trying to hear what we got to say. Y'all not trying to absorb what we're trying to say, and y'all are not.
We're just making the fandom look bad,
and we trying to save y'all ass, and we trying to make sure
we're save you from what's to come.
And like I said, ain't no such thing as halfway crooks. That shit don't exist. You either gotta be about it or you ain't. And when it comes to this racism shit, when it comes to this heavy duty shit, you can't pivot. You can't try to but you can't try to generalize. You got to speak on it directly and firmly, like you would do any topic that's close and near and dear to your heart. Because if this ain't one of them, you already got about 99 problems. And
we ain't one of them.
Right.
Okay.
I promise you we are not. Promise you we are not. So yeah.
And can I just say, don't get in a black person's DMs trying to get them to explain to you what happened tonight.
Please don't.
Or trying to get you trying to explain to you why we upset.
Please don't. Please, for God's sakes, don't. Because I'm not in the mood. I'm gonna hurt. I'll make you cry like I'm crying.
Google is your friend. Google is your friend.
Google's your friend.
Go find your buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too much. It's a lot of leeway and bullshit and how shit gets done. And I really fucking hope, I know we got Amanda, we got Rasha, we got Gil, Jay, Nice Cast, all you guys, John, of course, y'all all watching. I saw Anthony ACS is on there in here earlier. Really hope y'all guys are absorbing and listening and understanding. And I really hope this is really reaching y'all, because like this ain't Schoolhouse Rock. We ain't gonna be singing those songs trying to get you to understand in the most basest of terms so you can learn. This is we doing that shit now. We doing this shit now. There's really a courtesy, to be quite fucking honest, because we really could just leave y'all to y'all devices, and when the funk hits the fan,
Actually,
I'm gonna
go ahead and say this, and I don't know, y'all might feel a different type of way later, but I'm gonna just say it for myself. This is gonna be the first and last time we ever have any kind of bullshit like this. Because if you don't get it tonight, you just don't want to get it.
Yeah. If y'all are not trying to sit here, this is on YouTube, unless we done said something beyond the pale where they try to take it down, which I don't see it. This is y'all learning tree. So y'all this is a clean hour and 15 or such of us talking real. You know what I'm talking about? And if y'all not trying to come at like, we understand, we're gonna do better. We got you. How can we fix this? If you're gonna DM us, that's how you DM us. You say, how do we fix this? How do you want us to fix this? You lend yourself. And you lend yourself to us to say, how do we go about fixing this? Not no, okay, what are your ideas? What is your ideas? Well, how are you going to do it? No, you sit there and you say, you if you don't understand, if you understand, then you already know what the next steps is. You already do. But if this has apparently missed your complete context of understanding, then you need to like Joe said, Google's free, this is free. We should be charging y'all for it just based off of the amount of bullshit that's been let slide, but we not. Because like I said, this is like this is it. This is just the one time deal.
Yeah,
So y'all
because
better.
I'm a professor, and I do teach kids for pay. So I'm just saying, I'm putting that out there. Y'all getting this for free. Aaron used to be a teacher too. We used to do. I mean, come on
And
now.
I'm a hustler, so I don't mind having y'all come up on some cash for this.
You can't
Hustlers
go
are
from a
teachers.
preacher to a hustler. You can't.
They the same. It's a Venn diagram.
Have
in the
you-
middle.
have you-
I'm out.
It's a different black label
Some
profession.
preachers are hustlers. Time
I
out
just-
now.
Okay.
Thank you, Mike. Thank
Right.
you, Mike.
That's a whole
Okay,
nother
let's-
topic.
that's
Slow
another
down.
black
Look at
label
Joel
issue.
Osteen and just say
That's
it.
a whole other topic.
Another black label. That's
And
another
that's-
black label session.
And y'all better savor that. Y'all better savor that. That's the only piece of jovialness y'all gonna get from the stream tonight. So y'all better clip that joke.
Actually, got one more thing.
Yeah.
Tonight's episode, I'll tell you about Alka-Seltzer. Because I'm about to take a bunch of these and knock the fuck out.
Yeah.
I hope y'all
Yeah, for
clip.
all of the white tears.
I hope
Yes.
y'all clip to that too, because that's the only two y'all getting. That's the only two little jokey
Love
jokes
it.
y'all getting from
Aaron.
this.
Everybody who's been in my DMs talking my name the last couple days, drinking it up right here.
Cheers.
I don't care about how you feel about me.
Okay.
I do want to say though about when you talked about being an ally or an accomplice, and you talked about what you should do and what they should ask. The number one thing you should be doing is not putting yourself in the middle. Do not center yourself. This is not about you. This is not a moment about you. So when you come to us or go to another black person, don't try not to use I statements when asking what you can do to help. What do you need? What does the movement need in order to move forward? It's gonna take a minute to construct that and get yourselves out in the middle, but you got to do that, and you've got to let us speak. You've got to amplify us when we speak. I mean, and that's not about clout or anything else. And you've really, 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 I mean, really and truly, you've got to listen to the streams like this. I mean, take this, listen to it again, take some notes. Take a dictionary, look up some of the terms. And I threw out some major ones,
Yeah.
If you want to truly be us united, if you want to truly be an ally accomplice, that's what you need to do. Get out of the way. And yes. And I want to plug my book. Mike, you got the link.
Yeah, hold on.
So
Give me a second.
we're not just pulling this out of nowhere. I actually wrote a book about questioning cultural appropriation, where I talk about dominant cultures and how they can damage how structural racism works. It's all in there. There it is. From the publisher. And the book is it's really easy to read. It's really short. But it'll give you everything you need to know, not just about cultural appropriation, but about structural racism. The terms I used tonight are in that book. And FYI, you think that cover is racist, but it's is cultural appropriation and racist, but it's not.
Yeah.
Because the girl is, that's her tribal. Yeah.
I got an idea.
I just want to add quickly that if you think that us talking about racism and asking these things is for clout, then fuck you. Like if you think that us 6 black folks once this shit done and fucking handled for clout, Fuck you. And what the fuck you? What the fuck? What the fuck is going on? You think my black ass is clout is using racism to clout chase? like
it's real.
That shit isn't that like that already tells me where your mind is. If that's where you're standing, if that's your worldview on this shit, if you are really that arrogant to fucking think that our racism that we going on and us going, no, that's some racist bullshit. And y'all think, oh man, they're clout chasing. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Yeah.
Like that's like fuck them. Like that's as I said, like I've said this on a multitude of the situations, but this is also a very even more appropriate situation. Fuck them. If anybody's out there, and not just us, if there's any black people in the fandom in the world today who have at one point or another been accused of clout chasing because they call out racist bullshit, you tell the folks that says that, fuck you. Fuck them. Because they don't give a damn. They think that if that's their first, if that's their first, I'm specifically talking about non-blacks, non-Muslims, non-Asians, anyone who's been a victim of racism and has been accused of clout chasing because you want an answer, you want this to be spoken out about, and the first mind people are giving you is clout chasing, fuck them. Because they don't give that, they're already touched you, they've already showed you their hand and shown you where they're standing. And the simple fact that is even an idea that can cross a white person's brain, because there's only one group. I hate to educate y'all like this, but racism ain't just simply calling somebody the N-word or calling a Hispanic person a slur or anything like that. It's about systematic power and how they wield it. That's racism. And there's only one group of individuals who can actually truthfully prejudice is another topic. And that is something that we all can give towards one another. It's a difference between racism and prejudice.
That's in my book too.
Period.
Yeah, there's a difference. So when you catch these folks saying that shit, there's only one record. There's only one course. Fuck them. So
What he says is true is about the dominant culture. I mean, not dominant culture, but dominant people, dominant group. Very, very. It's this stuff has been studied so long. It's not anything new. We've known it for ages. We've known it for years, and people just refuse to hear it. You refuse to hear it. They've been. I mean, when I was researching this book, I was like shocked to see how far back studies on racism go. I mean, they were studying race when we were still enslaved. When my people were still enslaved down around in Mississippi, on my daddy's side. So if we've been studying this thing for this long and you still acting like it don't exist, yeah, I'm with you. Fuck them.
fuck them. And also another before we get out of here, I gotta give one more antiquated black saying. If it don't apply, let it fly. If you are a white person that goes, oh man, I don't feel this way and I feel like I'm being attacked, then if it don't apply, let it fly. But more than likely, if you're saying that sentence, then you already have indulged in that, or else you wouldn't feel like there's somebody is being directed towards you. So
yep, that's it. That's, I mean, you want to take us out, Q?
I guess I'll let me go ahead and take everyone out. So
Make benediction short. I got work in the morning.
As Key said, this y'all get this for this the only free tire you get. After this shit, if your tire bust on some bullshit, you gonna have to go on ahead and spit on them hands and push that guy up that hill because he ain't gonna get it from us. So next week we gonna be talking about what the fuck we're gonna talk about. And that's probably more than likely 2020's bullshit and trying to decipher everything that's happened. Card subject to change. Again, this is MulDiversity Black Label Edition. You know what I'm talking about. And then whenever something bullshit come up and it's just too egregious to ignore, and you see that Black Label Edition, you can expect something like this. It ain't gonna talk about. It's not gonna be about racism, but it's gonna be about some heavy shit. So we letting you know now. This is what you gonna get. Other than that, y'all already know who it is. This is Quamon Star G at Twitter, where you're gonna find me for the next foreseeable future, talking about how fuck stupid these white folks have been in Washington D.C. and how this shit needs to get nipped in the fucking bud, and this shit needs to be done away with because I ain't going for it. And yes, Amanda, I agree with both of those comments. Well, the first one, the second one, I don't know.
She been in the black church. Had to be. Amanda, you've been.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
Mhm.
But in any case, I'm Quamon Star G.
Yep.
I'm Quamon Star G. I'm gonna be talking about how white nonsense has pissed me off to an nth degree and expecting due recompense for this to be resolved. Be watching y'all fucking closely in this fandom too, because y'all also be wilding, as my homeboy Lord Frieza kind of says, but I'm not going to tell y'all what he actually says because those are not for y'all ears. And you got Q&K Talk Wrestling that's going to be, picking back up fairly soon. We got a lot to talk about. How Chris Jericho got dogged by NBA fans, Cardi B is probably going to WrestleMania, et cetera, and also, making sure people's videos look cool by putting funny subtitles, like on Bitch What, when that Key and Apia does. But now I'm gonna throw it to my homegirl Key because she's the GOAT and she's next. So go ahead.
All right, y'all. I'm Key, and you guys can still find me at Kerosene Lannister. You can also find me on Q and K Talk Wrestling. And you can also find me on Me and Avia Show Bitch What, which looks like we're going to be talking about, once again, white people. All the while, I'm drinking out my Simply Modern cup, hoping that I'll look like the Victoria's Secret models that also have ladies. I'm done.
Hey, I'm Avia. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Vero at Avia Knighton. Me and Key are going to be on Bitch What really soon, so expect a new episode. And then also me and Aaron are going to start filming Shake the Table really soon, so be ready for that.
Hey, it's me, Joe. You can find me at Jonita L. Davis on all platforms. You can find me here, MulDiversity every week, and also on The Mess with Mike as we explore the messy, dramatic shows that y'all tend to talk about. And it appears that some of the shows we picked is shows that folks want to talk about, race. And I don't think they know what they're talking about, but we're going to get into those fairly soon. We're going to start back up. You can also find some of my interviews on the Black Cape Media. I'm going to have some new interviews from The Office coming up. So.
And of course, I'm Aaron Michael. You can find me on all platforms at @AaronMichael_J. You can find me with Mike on To Lovecraft and Back. We're going to be picking right back up very soon. You can find me with Avia very soon on Shake the Table. We're going to be talking about a lot of issues. And mostly you can find me on Comic Book Debate, writing some articles very much for our people in the comics community, and also on Twitter, clocking you brand new accounts that were made in October 2020 who are disinfo agents.
Woo! I'm Mike. You can find me on all platforms at _oddgeek. Yes, me and Aaron are back at it this week. We're actually dropping episode 4, where we break down a history of violence of Lovecraft Country. So if you haven't watched it, stream it on HBO Max. It's really good. And with everything that's happening today, it will actually pick up in that storyline. So check it out. Yes, The Mess with me and Joe. I can't wait till we finish talking about Bridgerton, because Bridgerton is excelente. It's really good, and yeah, hope to see y'all next week. Take us out, Q.
All righty, so we are.
Hang on. I forgot to say, Women of the Watchtower. with my girls. Amanda's in the comments. Meg, yes, you'll see me on Women of the Watchtower monthly. So that's it.
I thought it was weekly. Well, no, it's not.
No.
You're
It's actually twice a month, so yeah.
bi-monthly. Yeah. You might see them women's on this stream fairly soon as well. I'm gonna keep saying that until we do a meeting and they all confirm it. But in any case, we have been your keys to the MulDiversity. We stand with Ray Fisher and believe him entirely. Make sure you stream Zack Snyder's Justice League in March. And don't be dickhead racist, and treasure your black friends if you are white, and don't be dickheads.
And listen to black women.
Absolutely. Or y'all gonna see me with Jordans and black Air Forces. So